Hey guys, happy Tuesday. How are you? Let me see if I can do my usual and try and figure out who's online. So, how are you on this wonderful Tuesday? Let me see if it's better if I turn that light out. Is that better? Oh my god, that's so much better. I haven't got some weird halo over my head. Hello people, how are you? I hope that you are having a good Tuesday. If you're online, pop me a little wave or say hello or a comment or something so that I know that I am not some weirdo here on my own talking to myself. For me, today is my first day back in the office after a weekend of entertaining a 5-year-old with a broken leg. It's all going well. We went back to the consultant yesterday and they said that basically we've got another 4 weeks with the cast on. We're 2.5 weeks in, 4 weeks with the cast on, another 2 weeks after that of being off school. So it feels like it's going to be a lifetime away, but at least I now have a plan and I can say to my son, this is what's happening. You got cast on for another 4 weeks, 2 more weeks off school, and then hopefully you can go back to school. They did say that he's going to walk with a limp for at least the next 3 months, which just breaks my heart because my son, I'm sure those of you with kids and especially boys out there will know, like 5-year-old boys like to run a lot. So it's going to break my heart, but you know, the good news is he'll be okay in the end. Anyway, I don't know why this has suddenly turned into me kind of coming online and going, hey, these are my problems. But today, these live Q&As are about you. So let me just see who's online. A quick hello to people. Leah, hello, my love. Hello, hello, Claire. I think we've got Kathy. Yeah, 6 weeks. Yeah. Now you understand why I'm going to need a couple of nights out to regain my sanity. Jenny, Vicky, hello loves. So I hope you guys are okay on this Tuesday anyway. These sessions, for those of you joining that haven't been on these before, generally I will talk a little bit, sorry about that, but then really this is your opportunity to ask me questions. So we always have a theme. Today's theme is going to be around what you should be charging, VA rates, anything kind of related to that. But in reality, if you've got another question, please do put comments or type in comments in the box and I will get around to answering it, either online now or if we're coming to the end, then at the end of that as well. Kathy, gin. Have you got kind of booze Tourette's, or are you saying that I need gin to keep going over the next 6 weeks? You're not wrong, love. You're not wrong. There's going to be a lot of gin. So, welcome to everybody that's online. VA rates. I want to talk a little bit about kind of my thoughts on, as a VA, what you could charge, should charge, do charge. And this is quite topical, right? But it's also something that I've never understood, why people can get really funny talking about rates and money. And it is a really personal choice. So all I can do is share with you my thoughts and how I feel about it. But personally for me, talking about what I charge or, you know, what I've brought in has never been a problem. Not from an arrogant, you know, this is how much I've earned, because trust me, I've had some really pants months in lots of pants months in my time as a business owner. But I think more in that, with me, what you see is what you get. And I'm also quite real. So in terms of, I'd rather share my experiences with someone and hope that good or bad it helps them than, you know, be competitive and withdrawn and not worry about it. But, you know, equally, I've got very close friends that don't like to talk financials. So it's not that I'm saying everybody should talk about this. Where am I going with this? Anyway, but there's a lot of Facebook groups out there for VAs where, believe it or not, talking about kind of what you should charge and rates and anything to do with the financial side of your business is actually not allowed. And I remember being in one of those groups quite early on in my journey, and it wasn't a group that I was in for very long because I didn't like the whole ethos that you weren't allowed to ask a question about something, or that it was going to inspire this sort of, and did, sort of backlash. So, you know, the people that did put stuff out there about, you know, what should I be charging for this, or I'm charging this, is it about right for what I'm doing, would get a lot of negativity thrown at them. And I couldn't really understand it because, you know, as a community, we need to be collaborative to grow. And the only way that we can sort of learn is to share that information. And we don't have teams around us. So seeking that kind of validation, I guess, is important as well. So just to be clear, no question that you ask in the hub will ever be a not allowed question. Promo's not allowed apart from on Thursday Fridays. But, you know, no question's a stupid question. No question is a disallowed question. This community is here from a support point of view. So whatever's going to help you guys is important. So anyway, hello. Oh, that's interesting. Claire, are you on as me? Loving it. Loving it, loving it. VIP VA morning. Hi, Nikisha. So VA rates. As I say, quite controversial, and there's lots of stuff going on out there about it at the moment. You guys, as people in my hub, will know that I'm a firm believer that as an industry, we have quite a long way to go in terms of cementing our value and our worth. The Time to Elevate survey that we did last year, the campaign that I ran with the help of lots of you lovely people, was instrumental in understanding not only how people external to the industry perceive us, but also how we perceive ourselves, how we value ourselves, and how they value us as well. Hello, Nicola. Hello, Shona. And so when I'm banging on about kind of what you guys should be charging, it always comes from a place of saying you need to be absolutely comfortable with what you're charging. You need to believe that it's what you're worth. You need to believe it's fair. You need to feel comfortable, because in the end you're going to be the person that's saying this is what my hourly rate is, or this is what my package rate is, or however it is that you work with your clients. But equally, it makes sense that as an industry we try and move towards charging a more fair rate for our services. The infographic that I was sharing on social media last week or the week before, I mean my fabulous team, was sharing on social media, was all around, you know, if you're charging £25 an hour, what are you actually getting out of that? And it was quite stark to see if you are investing in the proper things, i.e. your insurance, your data protection, your contracts, your, if you're using the right version of LastPass, Dropbox, all of those things start to mount up. So your expenses are thus, you're actually not getting anywhere near £25 an hour out of it. So that's why I believe that moving more towards that as a rate is probably sensible, because you guys need to be making sure that you can earn enough from this business, and you can, but it's not going to happen if you're charging £10 an hour, £15 an hour, even like under £20 an hour. You then will struggle to make enough money from this business. So it isn't about me sitting there saying this is our industry lowest rate and nobody should charge any less than that. I'm not the owner of some sort of drugs cartel that's trying to fix rates. But it is me sort of saying, let's be sensible about this. We all want the same thing. We all want to be valued more and to be paid more for, or be paid fairly without the quibbling by the clients that we want to work with. And how do we get there? We can only get there if we say that people entering the industry charging those low rates, or agencies charging or paying their VAs those $4 an hour, that's not okay. And we can only do that by sticking to a higher hourly rate, or encouraging people to charge more aligned with their worth. And it has nothing to do, to be clear, with where you're located in the country, in the world, because your clients could be anywhere. So I personally am based just outside of London. I'm in Chelmsford. In my corporate career, I always would have had a good London weighting on my salary, but it doesn't matter. Some of my members are up in the Shetland Islands and they charge the same, because it doesn't matter that they're in the Shetland Islands and what they could get in a corporate role up there would be less. Their clients are in London, or they're in Paris, or they're in Hong Kong, or wherever they are. So it doesn't matter where you're located. It just matters based on your skill and your experience and what you feel you're worth. So does that make sense? I kind of feel like I've gone off on some weird tangent, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about kind of why I champion hourly rates being higher maybe than other communities do. And I think it's because we are trying to move to a state where we are more valued and we are more respected, and we can never get there unless we value ourselves more, we charge more. This isn't about exploitation, to be clear. This is about being paid accordingly for the work that you do, for the skill that you bring, to the value that you bring to somebody's business. And it's also understanding that your hourly rate is not reflective of your take home. So, yeah, ta-da! That's what I wanted to say today. Now, coming out of the Time to Elevate survey, £25 an hour was the industry average. So that means that there are people that charge a lot more than that, and there are people that charge a lot less than that. And that's not to say that you all should be going out there now going, oh, well, I have to charge £25 an hour. You don't. But understanding that that's where the middle point is for us here in the UK, so that it's important to say that that's a UK average. There were some global VAs that fed into that survey, but it was 85 or 90% UK focused. So that's a UK average, but it means that, you know, understanding that that's where the middle point is, you can then work out where you feel comfortable based on who you're serving, what experience you have, what skills you have, how you feel about saying I'm worth £20 an hour, £35 an hour, £45 an hour. You can then find where you fit on that spectrum, and it's personal to everyone. There's no right or wrong. So, yeah, loving it, Leah. So you're saying being paid as a professional and not an employee. Exactly. Because in the end, do you know, I remember early on in my VA journey having a meeting with a lady that I absolutely was dying to work for. She was a female IFA. I came from an insurance background, so I knew of her in the industry. And had a really wonderful meeting with her where she was kind of saying, fabulous, you know, one of those meetings where, as you know, you're smiling at each other and everything's going well and everything, you're sort of saying, they're nodding and going, oh yeah, total chemistry. And then when I told her what my hourly rate was, which at the time was, I think it was £35 an hour, she like nearly fell off her chair. She said to me, I can't believe I would pay any more than sort of £15 to £20 an hour for a secretary. And at the time I found that quite offensive in terms of how she was viewing me, but also it really inspired me to go away and think about how I was selling my business, because I wasn't a secretary, I was doing project management. At the time I was you know, doing more technical things. There were things that I was doing that were definitely worth more than that, but it was kind of partly my fault for how I was talking about myself and the value that I was bringing to her business, but it was partly about the perception of what a VA could do for her. So there's sort of this two-pronged thing we need to deal with in this industry, and it's how others perceive us and it's how we perceive ourselves. And I think we have to work on how we perceive ourselves and how we value and worth and feel the worth of ourselves before we can even challenge how other people start to see us, because we need to believe it first. So let's just have a look. Hello people. Claire says, value your experience and know your worth. Totally agree. Our location should not make a jot of difference when your clients could be anywhere. Absolutely. I know that oh, Amanda, hello love. I know that Amanda's got clients in the US and somewhere that way as well, maybe like Hong Kong or Singapore. So it doesn't matter where her clients, it doesn't matter where you're based, because, you know, she's not there. She's not over serving in those different arenas. She's at her fabulous home office that I'm always jealous of in Chesham. So, you know, it doesn't really matter where you're based. It matters how you value yourself. It's not got anything to do with location. So, any questions about VA rates, pricing, increasing rates, what to charge, anything, throw them at me. I'm done with talking. So, well, I'm done with talking off my own back, and you're probably done with listening to me. So, what's going on with you guys? Give me some questions to answer, or comments and thoughts on what I've said around how to charge or what to charge. Don't be quiet on this Tuesday morning. This is my escape from looking after a 5-year-old with broken legs. So come on, throw some stuff at me. Do you guys feel comfortable with what you're charging? Do you guys feel able to charge what you're worth? people out there charging less than £25 an hour? Is that something you feel you would ever get to? Yes or no? If no, why? What's going on? Are you all going to be quiet, or are you all typing? Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I was going to say about what to charge. I think the other important point I would make, maybe for some of the newer people in the group, and anyone that's coming to see me at Practically Perfect PA on Thursday, sorry, you're going to hear this on Thursday as well, it's kind of the importance around not dropping your rate. So again, this is personal choice. So this, if that's what you guys do, flex around clients, that's fine. But personally, I found that dropping rates or negotiating on rates did two things that were negative for me. First of all, it impacted on what I was earning, and I was valuing the work that I was doing for the lower rates less, because I felt pissed off that I was being paid less than my other clients were paying me. And secondly, it made me feel devalued. So it made me feel that somebody didn't value me as much. And then as somebody that struggled with confidence and anxiety and how I felt about myself, you know, self-image issues at the time, that was really destructive. So I think, you know, if you're going to be dropping your rate, you need to be pretty sure about why you're doing it, and also if there's sort of an end date. I know people that have maybe done sort of, I'll do a first 3 months at this rate, but then it goes up to normal rate. That's worked quite well for them, but, you know, just be kind of aware around that. Shona, hello my love, she says client mindsets, how they understand the practical relationship, i.e. we're not in the room. I think that's become, when I first started back in 2012, that was one of the things you had to just sort of describe the most, was going, I'm a VA and this is how it works in practice. Whereas I don't think you have to do that anymore. I think people know what VAs are or what they do. But around the mindset of going, actually, you're not an employee of theirs, that depends on the client, right? And that depends also on how clear you are as well around your own boundaries. I know lots of people that have got clients that they've then, you know, had issues with, where the client obviously goes, I'm paying you for 10 hours a month, but I want you on call all the time. So there needs to be that kind of clear explanation in the outset, particularly if they've not worked with a VA before, that this is how it works. You're not at their beck and call. You do juggle clients, you work flexibly, and you will always get their work done, and they are important to you, but you are not sat at your desk all the time waiting for their call. So I think it's kind of, again, goes back to that sort of engagement and education piece, but equally it's about you setting, as VAs, clear boundaries at the outset. And setting boundaries doesn't have to be a negative, it can be a real positive. I always think back to toddlers. Anyone here that's got a toddler, anyone here that's got a preschooler like mine, blimey, she thrives when she's got boundaries. If I'm too loose with her, she is like all over the place. But if I'm clear and I set the boundaries, and she might push against them every now and again, but she's then clear about where the boundaries are. And it's exactly the same with business. Not saying your clients are toddlers or preschoolers, hopefully not anyway, but you know, you need to be clear at the outset around how this works. And somebody in my membership club, I'm not going to name and shame, has got a really good, I know who it is, has got a really good like onboarding document that they use that outlines all of this and goes, okay, now you're on board, lovely valued client, this is how it works. I will do this, I won't do that. And almost having that as part of your contract or what people are signing up to could be quite useful. So maybe something to think about. Vicky says, ex-London EA here, living in French countryside, charging almost where he should be. I remember the days of charging £10 an hour, not anymore. Yeah, absolutely. And Vicky's got quite an interesting story, because she's if anyone wants to chat about doing the whole sort of Upwork, might not have been Upwork, Vicky, thing, and then moving into doing your own VA work, she's a really good person to talk to. You're going to be inundated with messages now, sorry Vicky, but because she's done both. So she started there and then she's moved forward and gone into having her own clients and running her own VA business, so she can give some sort of quite honest advice from someone that's actually been there. Because I know there was a question about whether you should use Upwork, and I personally am against VA agencies and things, because Certainly all of my clients and many of the VAs that I know, they work with those VAs because they are individuals and that it's a partnership and that business relationship really works. Whereas I think with Upwork, you are just somebody being brought on to do a task, and you won't be valued in the same way. You'll be valued as something quite different, and that is probably translated in the way that they deal with you and also how they end up paying you. So yeah. So Amanda says, hello love, just as Nishan gave you the confidence to up your rate and now have no problem charging, and since they've never had an issue with people not paying or respecting what you charge, mindset's definitely a massive part. It takes a lot of work to get there, absolutely. And it takes a lot of balls. Let's not ignore the fact it takes a lot of balls to walk away from somebody that says, oh, I really want to work with you, but it's got to be, I can't pay you that, it's got to be lower. It takes a lot of balls to go, well, actually, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable for me. Good luck in finding something else, particularly when, you know, I was always in the sort of making hay while the sun shines mindset when I was running my business, which was, you know, take on as many clients as I could because I wanted to make sure that I was going to be financially sound. But you have to make that sort of distinction that says, I'm not going to accept that lower rate, because then where does it stop? You know what you're worth, and people don't negotiate with accountants and lawyers and other people on their hourly rate. That's the rate. So it makes sense that you wouldn't do that with VAs. Yeah, it does take a lot of work there. So Leah says you're realigning what you offer this year and then started to charge the way people see me. I don't network as a VA anymore, but instead as a specialist, and it's starting to pay off a little bit more. Seems to be all about clarity. Yeah, and it's a simple change, right? Going, because Leah, you're fabulous, but you know, whether you called yourself a VA, a consultant, a fairy godmother, whatever you ended up calling yourself, you're doing the same job. But it's about perception. It's about how you feel. It's about how other people feel about you. So maybe if you're struggling, a slight tweak in terms of how you talk about yourself, so it can be helpful. So rather than sort of saying, I'm a VA and I do your admin, you could say, well, I'm a virtual PA and I help run the back end of your business so that you can focus on being with your clients, or, you know, whatever it is that you feel comfortable saying. But that might end up changing the way that somebody sees you. So Sarah says, I've grown to resent my low rate clients. 1st of April, everyone will be paying at least 25. Yeah, I lost a client due to this, but I'm okay. So you value yourself so much more. Makes you sad when you hear VAs saying they can only charge 10 or 15, and I wish I could get them to see their value. I know, and I think but it is that brave move, isn't it, of going, you have to start saying no, and at that point you're turning away business. And again, in my experience, when you start turning away the wrong clients, the right clients do sort of somehow find their way to you, whether that's because you're more confident and you feel empowered, or serendipity, or whatever it is. But it's a brave move in the first instance to kind of go, I'm not going to work with that client. But you've got to start somewhere. You've got to start the saying no and the moving towards clients that will pay more somewhere. And it might be for people that are struggling and finding that you are only getting people that are willing to pay 10 or 15 pounds an hour. Think about what you might need to tweak. Think about your ideal client. Is it that you're trying to target people that don't earn very much and therefore don't see the value in a VA? So sometimes I've found that some tradespeople don't want to pay more than sort of 10 or 15 pounds an hour because they themselves don't charge lots. Maybe you need to tweak who you're going for. Lots of consultants, non-exec directors, coaches, online entrepreneurs, they will all pay, they're used to paying £25 an hour or more. So think about that, but also think about if you're being too local, as in, are you doing leaflet dropping and focusing on your own town? Because again, sometimes depending, you know, if I went and marketed in Chelmsford, I'm not necessarily sure that I'd get a load of people that would want to pay £35 an hour or upwards. It can be that you need to look wider, and you guys are online, you're virtual, your clients can be anywhere, so think about it that way. Don't worry about your local area. Hi Michelle, hello. I'm just going through the comments, guys, if I'm being a bit slow. Oh Leah, you were ex-Upwork time, etc. Oh my gosh, well there you go. So if people are inundating Vicky, you can talk to Leah as well. Oh dear. Claire says, absolutely comfortable, wasn't always 100% at the start, but 1 year on, now completely fine with what you charge. Now looking at your website offering to make sure you're clearly demonstrating the value. Absolutely, my love, and good for you. And you've had an amazing journey as well. Hello, Donna. Hi, Joe. This links into a lot of the thinking that I started doing with your business and rates just before Christmas, Joe. Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. It's not about going. As an industry, we have to charge this rate. As I say, it's not a drugs cartel, but it's about going. It makes sense. We're all moving towards a common goal, which is we want this industry to be valued more. And the other thing is that if I was one of those VAs that felt that I couldn't charge more than sort of £10 or £15 an hour, hearing that other people do, and the industry average is £25 an hour, would inspire me to go, actually, I'm probably worth more than this. I am worth more than this. So therefore, why aren't I charging more? And people, it's like kind of sales psychology where people, if you give them three options, that's the sort of most expensive, middle ground and the cheapest, they will usually not go for the cheapest because they don't value it as much. So if you are a rock bottom charging VA, they're not going to value you as much. That's the thing. They don't think they're getting a deal. They just don't value what you're giving as much. Sorry, that's my opinion. Shona says, I'm still having conversations with this. I had a call from a client on Sunday. They've never done this before. I've got an onboarding process that covers this, but find some people don't grasp the concept. What don't they grasp, Shona? How you can do the work virtually, or is it that they don't grasp around rate? Give me some clarity, and I'll try and give you some tips. Vicky says, by setting yourself an hourly rate and getting it written down and preached to yourself is a massive boost for your sale point. I spoke to a potential client a few weeks ago who was asking for £18 an hour for a VA close to London. Once we've spoken and bonded, I explained ins and outs of working with a VA, how it all works. Everything was against me on the job. However, he was sold in it. Oh, brilliant. Amazing. Well done, you. Proper conversion there. Absolutely. And people that come to me, I get a lot of people coming to me for looking for a VA, which is where I then link them in with my members. The ones that are kind of going, well, I want the world, the ones, I want the world and his wife for £10 an hour. I then do a lot of kind of talking with them around not only industry average rates, but also about the value that VAs can bring and by investing in somebody skilled like you guys and experienced, then it can absolutely transform how you run your business. So hopefully that helps them. Some do, some don't, but work in progress. So Donna says, I've got a client who I know quite well, but he owes me money. He's been saying since November he's going to pay on Monday. Still hasn't come in. Oh my God. Today I have that horrible task of telling him his file is at the bottom of the pile until he pays. Goes along the same lines, lack of respect. Abso-bloody-lutely. Sorry, that does annoy me. He owes you money since November. Okay, so Donna, what's in your contract about late payment fees? Because you guys need to have that in your contracts. You need to have your terms, as in saying this invoice, when I submit it, is going to be due in X days. And if it's not met there, you need to start adding on money. I'd also be having that kind of frank discussion with him about the fact, not only that, his work's at the bottom of the pile until he pays, but, there are people that have had VAs that have had to take clients to the small claims court to get payment. I'm one of them. And I can talk you through that process. It's not pleasant, but usually clients won't want a CCJ on their record. So as long as you have a contract in place that sets out your payment terms, you can start adding interest to that. But also, it's not at the bottom of the pile, his work is not being done and you are not working with him. That's what you need to be clear about until he settles your invoice. He owes you money. Interestingly, are you charging ad hoc, or is this a retainer? Is it accruing? Are you getting like November's, December's, January's invoices being owed, or is it that it was an ad hoc piece of work that he's got outstanding? Anyway, that might sound brutal, but I feel for you because it's not easy. And personally, when I was in that situation where this client, who in fact was a friend, wasn't paying me, it really destroyed my confidence because I felt like she didn't value what I did as well. So think about the destructive relationship that's there, and if somebody doesn't value you, particularly when they're now 3 months late in paying you, is it worth keeping that client? I don't know. Oh, poor you. Natalie says, morning, haven't been around much, glad you caught the live. Hello. Currently in the process of revising all your services and how I work with and charge my clients. Back to the start. Oh, that sounds exciting. You found that working with clients on an hourly basis and branding yourself as a VA caused you more aggro than it was worth, as you've said. Although you may be doing the same job, I think about how you brand yourself, and having a really good niche is important. absolutely. And I think that's why I always get people in my training programs to start with identifying who your ideal client is, because I think how you talk about yourself, your branding, your services, your pricing to a degree, your marketing for sure, all of that stems from who your ideal client is. So that sounds exciting, Natalie. Let us know how you get on with your rebrand. Yeah, Kathy, loving this one. Also found it's really helpful to talk about the hourly rate rather than my hourly rate, less personal. Exactly. The hourly rate for my company, for my business is this. The cost for this service is this. Yeah, not my hourly rate is this. Totally. Simple shift, not only in how they perceive it, but also in how you feel about charging it, right? To go, this is the business rate. This isn't just about me. This is the business rate. Love it. Really simple, but an important mindset shift. You work with time, etc., Nicola. Oh, really? How's that going? So you're saying you're struggling to find any private clients. Okay. What are you struggling with? So maybe that's we need to explore that a bit more, because that's quite hard to sort of go on that from that comment. But again, like, there's going to be people that time, etc., and the rest are right for, and there's going to be people that it's not right for. Personally, I feel like you all have expertise and skills and the ability with guidance and training, not necessarily mine, of course, obviously mine because it's the best, but to be finding your own clients. There's so much business out there. There's enough business for everyone. It's just about how you're marketing yourself, how you value yourself. There's never been a better time to be a VA. The number of online businesses coming every day it's going up, and people are going to only increase how they work in terms of flexibly and virtually location wise. Then they're going to need VAs or virtual business support to support them. So maybe it's just going to be about looking at who you are marketing to. So if you've not got my Now Your Ideal Client freebie, then I can put the link to that in here if that's going to be useful, Nicola. Let me know, because that might help you to work out what you need to be saying. Amanda, networking, Nicola, online and offline. Oh, you've answered my question anyway. Yeah, absolutely. Online and offline, absolutely. So Della says, hello love. She says, I'm not giving an hourly charge anymore. I'm only offering retained hours to stop all the up and down clients who just pick up and drop down when they like, trying to get consistency across the board, and it's working. Absolutely. I could never get on with ad hoc clients because I didn't know what was coming the next month. I don't know if that's where you were, Della, but I just needed to know from a covering my costs perspective what was coming the next month, and retainers are a really good way to do that. Obviously, if I had a lovely client that was an ex-client that suddenly said, can you do this piece of work, I'd do it if I could, but I've moved all of my clients onto a retainer. It's a good way to do it. So Facebook and LinkedIn and word of mouth, Nicola. Okay, well, maybe give us some more info, Nicola, but otherwise I can give you that Nail Your Ideal Client freebie. No worries, Shona. Pop me a PM. Hello, Michelle. Good morning. Just started out as a VA, struggling with finding clients. I've had a couple of telephone calls with potential clients recently, but haven't heard back from them as yet. I'm really struggling with your confidence. Oh, bless you. I was so there when I started as well, and that's really hard. It does come with time, but I think also with kind of being really clear about what you're offering, who you're offering it to, and the price, as Kathy says. With the people that aren't coming back to you, this used to really get my goat, when you'd have a call with somebody and then they you wouldn't hear from them at all about whatever the proposal was that you'd given to them or the conversation that you'd had. And I put in place quite a simple sort of follow-up procedure. Sounds really technical. It wasn't. It was just like a set of dates that I'd follow up with. So if I had a call, what I would always do at the end of the call was say, so I'll send you a proposal through. Let's book in a date for a week, 2 weeks, whatever you felt was appropriate time to have a discussion when would work for you. Because it's much, much harder for somebody to have to cancel an appointment with you than it is to just not come back to you. So I think, if somebody does have to cancel an appointment with you, then, that opens discussion. But also if then they don't show for the appointment, I think that shows something about them and they probably, don't respect you anyway. So always make sure that at the end of your call, you're saying, let's book in a time now to follow up, blah, blah, blah. And then you can send your proposal through. Now, what I used to do, if I didn't end up getting a follow-up through, or even if I did, I used to then set myself like a chase up schedule. So I'd chase after a week and sort of say, how's it going? Do you want to have a chat? If it wasn't right or I didn't hear from them, if I didn't hear from them, then I'd leave it another couple of weeks and say, we spoke on blah, blah, blah. How's that going? And then I'd do one final follow-up another 2 weeks after that, where I would kind of say, following our catch up on this day, just wanted to see if you do want to go ahead. I'm going to be releasing the time. I've got other inquiries, but I just wanted to check in with you to see where you were at with it. And then after that, I would just leave it as people aren't interested. So maybe that's helpful, but definitely worth following up, because sometimes these people are busy and they it's not that they don't want to work with you, they are just absolutely manic, and that's why they need you. So it might be worth following up with them. So Donna, thanks, I'll get hold of this. I don't know what that is. Sorry, my love. Joe says, oh, I have a client I finished working with in December as they've grown and took on a permanent member of staff, now dragging their feet about paying their final bill. Chase it. December's not good enough. New year, come on, they can pay it. Oh, it's accruing. Sorry, Donna. Okay, accruing. Oh, my days. Have you got it in your contract about the payment terms? You need to get on that, and don't do any work for them. Claire says, Nicola, who are your ideal clients? Oh, you're giving some, giving some advice there. I need to get my contacts sorted out. Can you recommend good examples? Contacts or contracts? Amanda, are you talking about contracts? If you're talking about contracts, yes. Annabelle K's are by far the best. I'll pop my link in here that takes you right to the ones you need. They're fabulous, and they are tailored for VAs. So they have everything that you need in there in terms of making sure that you as a business are protected. It's not brutal, it's right. Yeah, okay, love. Oh, not fun. Oh, look, there you go. Claire's already popped the link in. I'm so far behind. This is great. You guys are really on fire today. So you could see with sorting out your contracts. So you've got four clients with your agency, Nicola. Is that with Upwork? Time, etc. Sorry. You did say time, etc. Yeah. I mean, again, if that's working for you, that's great. It just depends what you want the business to look like and where you want it to go. If that's yielding you the kind of flexibility and income that you want, fabulous. But I think the potential to earn more is out there if you have your own clients, and the potential to have more flexibility and to decide on the route of your business is obviously there if it's your business rather than an agency. So Rose, oh my word, you started off with time, etc. as well. How did I not know this, my darling? But to be honest, it's even harder work than setting up and finding your own clients. Talking about money can be difficult, but you have to try and take the personal feelings out of it and remember that you're running a business. Exactly. Look after your business just as well as you would look after a client. You are your most important client. I had a conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago where they were saying that they always put their stuff behind the clients' businesses, and I kind of did have a chat and sort of say, well, your business has to come first. And that's not saying that you sacrifice your clients or don't do a good job, but in the end, if you're not making sure your business is running smoothly, what's the point? You might as well go and get a job for working for somebody else. You need to make sure that you as a business and you as a person are okay as well. It's just finding someone that wants you, Nicola. There will be someone that wants you, I promise you. Feel free to pop me a PM after. It might just be that, have you done any training? Are you clear on sort of how to sort of set yourself up and market and run your business and how to really appeal to your clients and all that sort of stuff? Because it might just be that there's a disconnect there, or you might need to do a bit more exploring in terms of that, my dear. But I promise you there's people out there that will want you. I promise you. Right, yeah, sorry. So you're saying that you have a lot of experience, but it's not working out at the moment, so you figure your time clients is better than nothing. Absolutely, if that's what's working for you at the moment. But if you're trying to move away from that, it might be worth investing some time and energy into figuring out if you could be doing something outside of that. Again, this isn't me saying you shouldn't be working for those agencies. I'm just saying that you are likely to be paid less working for an agency and have less flexibility about the type of clients and the work that you're doing there than you would do if you're running your own VA business. Yes, coffee clatch. Nail your ideal client. Claire's on it this morning. She's clearly more awake than me. Thank you, Claire. Look up the magic email, works miracles for following up. Oh, love you, Leah. People are busy, but it's getting them to understand that unless they have the mindset to reach out, then nothing will change. Absolutely. And that is a struggle, to be clear, as a VA you'll have throughout your time as a VA. Getting them to understand that they have to invest in outsourcing, they have to build that relationship, and they have to spend some time. Short-term pain, long-term gain is one of the biggest struggles as well. When they're saying, I haven't got time to bring somebody on board to outsource, they will be constantly stuck in that place. They will never move out of it. And actually, as your VA businesses grow, you'll find that you get to that place as well of going, I need more people, I need more time, but I haven't got the time or energy to invest in training somebody else or bringing someone in. And again, you will not be able to grow your business until you let go. We have to let go and sometimes take a dip in income and time to invest in something else so that we can, for the greater good basically, so that we can build something bigger. Hot topic, Mrs. Whoop. Yep, buzz, buzz, buzz. This is a buzzy one. Well, I wanted to talk about rates and pay and everything because, as I said right at the beginning of this live, lots of groups find it taboo. They don't want to talk about it, or, in my opinion, they give false information. So I just wanted to give my opinion and my experience on rates, and as I say, to say it's never going to be taboo in the hub to talk about rates, and it will be different for everybody, but equally it will never matter where you are as to what you charge. It will matter based on your experience, how you value yourself, and to a certain degree what kind of clients you're working with. But you know, location is unimportant. So are we done? I'm kind of looking at the comments and I'm feeling like I've enjoyed this, but feeling like I've spent the time trying to catch up with your comments. So I'm really sorry if I've been slow and some of you have dropped off. But what I will do is, as I always do with these, is put it in the hub so that if people have questions, more comments, you can keep adding to the comments on this. And I will, if you tag me, I will come back to you. So yeah, thank you so much, all of you, for joining me on this chat. It's been really good. I can't believe we've been doing it for 45 minutes. I'm actually talking at a conference on Thursday where I was thinking, how can I talk for 30 minutes and fill that? Don't know how I can talk. And now I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to fit what I've got to say into 30 minutes? Because I think you get in a flow, don't you? So anyway, so just seeing a couple of comments. Alison, absolutely, locality doesn't matter. Alison's one of my fabulous members based in the Shetland Islands, and she doesn't have any problems. So there you go. Amanda says, my plan so far with the rates is to offer packages rather than hourly, but I'm really new and only had one client so far. I'd worry that despite lots of experience that I could be overcharging, but you don't want to undercharge. Oh, well, don't worry about it too much. As long as you're not charging £100. What is overcharging? Charge your worth. Charge what you feel. Don't worry about overcharging. Undercharging, I'd say, is more of an issue if you're not feeling, because there's bigger issues at play there, right? There's bigger sort of confidence or how you're perceiving yourself issues, which we've all been through, to be clear. But I wouldn't worry at all about overcharging. Do what feels right. I always had my rate, and then I would go out and almost like pretend talking to people about it and see how I felt about saying that rate or saying that package price. And if I felt like saying it, I wasn't comfortable with it. So just, you got to go with whatever you feel is comfortable. And just because somebody else says that's too much or too little, it doesn't matter a jot. You've got to do what you feel's right. It's your business. Right, see you guys later. Ciao. Just saying, Kathy's like, ciao. Blogs to write. Good luck with the blogs, Kathy. And guys, have a really good rest of your week. I'll chat to you soon. Bye.